Yeah, fine.
Elliot, before I go forward, are you an Everton supporter or a Liverpool supporter?
I'm an Everton fan.
That's it. You had it. Okay, you beat Liverpool. Okay, I'll just buy that.
Kick off soon for you. Kick off soon.
I know. Yes, there it is. Hey, actually, they started at 8:15, didn't they? Liverpool and Chelsea.
Yeah, it would have been, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, it would have.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I'll get an update if they score. We hope.
I'm sure you will, definitely.
Yeah, well, we'll wait and see. Yeah. Excellent. Hey, you know what? You look younger than you did the last time I saw you.
I grow backwards.
Do you? Oh, that's all right. As long as it isn't the effect of the drink.
No.
That's all right then. That's okay. Excellent. Are you still working, Elliot?
Yes, I've changed jobs since last time, but
have you?
Things are back on the up now.
All right.
Thankfully.
Excellent. Good. Are you a family man now?
No, engaged.
Oh, you're engaged.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
Excellent. Good. I will just say, Elliot, there seems to be a second or a half a second time lag. So we might seem as though we are crossing over each other, but I think it is just a slight time lag. Okay. Excellent. Right. You know what? Like I said, it's been quite a long time, and it's a pleasure seeing you again. I know you have been often asking via email or via Facebook or whatever certain questions which you needed answering. Hopefully, we've got an hour at least today. Yeah. Are you okay for an hour or?
That's perfect. That's fine.
That should be fine. Yeah. I mean, if it goes a bit longer, we're okay with that also. Yeah. So I'm going to leave the floor to you. Fire away. Whatever you think we can. No pressure at all.
One of the first questions is, I've watched your video with SC Dower, where evolution was mentioned, and that subject itself is vast anyway.
Yeah.
But in layman's terms, how is there a possibility of reconciling a progression of species, specifically human beings, and the Islamic view of creation regarding human beings specifically, or is that a complete odds, or can there be some bringing together?
Understand. Yeah. If we look at classical scholars in the Islamic world, there were many who had actually posited the very idea of the tree of life and its origins and subsequent transitional elements between all the various forms of life. It was already there hundreds of years before Charles Darwin actually appeared on the scene. There is a possibility. You see, my primary concern has always been and still is, as I mentioned on the stream, shall we first agree that there had been an act or a process of life? There had to be. By definition, because we are here, something did start off. The question that I need answering first, because if we were able to answer that question, anything subsequent we would be able to reasonably ascertain. Because it would necessarily mean there is either a purpose to this beginning of life, or it was a complete and mere accident.
Chance.
Are you following?
Type thing. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So either it was an intended process that was begun for life, the way life is defined, and it has a multitude of definitions. Okay. Or it was totally by chance. Now, why do I say that it is a very important question? Because if this question can be answered in the affirmative, then whatever process is subsequent will fall into place very logically. Now, what I mean by that is, if I say to you, okay, you know what, I have got an idea of a particular thing that I'm going to build.
Yeah.
I share the idea with you. I then start with the first 2-3 components. I've shared the
Yes.
idea with you, what's going to happen in the final analysis, but I have started showing you a few components of the potential finished product thereafter. Are you following?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So it is vital that that question is answered. Now, from an Islamic perspective, as a Muslim, I look at everything around me, and on that basis, I formulate a reasonable conclusion that my abilities require me to actually question my very existence.
Yes, I
Yeah?
agree.
That's the ability we have. And if it allows
Yeah.
me to question my very existence, then logically speaking, I ask the question, okay, where did life actually come from? Where did these sentient beings come from? If we came from
Yeah.
anywhere. So the
Yeah.
question was asked many hundreds of years ago. People have, we call them scholars, scientists, call them what you want. Individual human beings, groups of human beings have actually formulated theories to try and understand the origin of life that went broader into the origin of the universe, whether it is
Yes.
only the one universe or are there a multiple of universes, etc. So that question needs to be answered. If I say to you, okay, look, I know that as a human body, the human body actually undergoes changes. It does undergo changes. We know the
Yeah, it
fact
does. Yeah.
that we are in a pandemic is as a result of something interacting with this living entity, which is causing a bit of a disturbance in layman terms. Yeah?
Yeah.
But my question, therefore, is this, that if we want to bring the two together, as you are positing, I would want to ask this question. Whatever is contained in the body, call it the DNA, as we
Yeah.
understand it, whatever is driving the whole body, does it already have all the necessary elements to allow all the changes that had taken place or are taking place? My
I would say
contention,
yes.
exactly, my contention would be yes. But if that is the case, then it becomes all the more important that we address the origin of life first and foremost. Now, in the scientific communities, the way the word science is defined, we have divided what we call the process of evolution, the way evolution is understood in scientific terms,
Yes.
and the process or the beginning of life. They have separated it for some reason. That is
Yeah.
considered a separate issue. Sorry?
Yeah. It shouldn't be because they're connected by default, aren't they? Really?
Exactly. So they called it abiogenesis. Yeah. Now,
Yes.
to me, it seems very odd. If you are going to suggest that the way we understand the theory of evolution, and when we use the word theory, we are using it in the scientific context.
Yeah.
If the theory of evolution suggests that there were certain things, including what we call the fitness to survive or natural selection, okay, if these are
Yes.
yes, if these are elements which were actually determined according to Darwin, logically speaking, if natural selection was a driver, then it had to have something to drive. Are you following?
Yes.
Yeah. So my contention is that, look, if we want to amalgamate the two, the Islamic perspective, as we are saying, and
Yeah.
evolution, the way we understand it, I would potentially say that, look, we need to answer certain questions first before we can even posit the idea of amalgamation. Yeah. So if I were to say, okay, you know what? The Supreme Creator intended all these creations to be undertaken, and in that plan was included us. Would there be a
Yes.
problem?
It would be
yeah.
no problem, but the only slight issue is whether the Quranic view would support that in any way.
Correct.
For me personally.
Absolutely. You are absolutely correct. But for that to be answered or to be considered, we would need to establish how the first set of life forms arrived.
Yes.
Because if we cannot answer that question, we can agree that we are going to theorize till the cows come home, and we will still agree to disagree. Yeah. So, for example, if I were to say, okay, the Quran talks about very clearly life being a created element.
Yeah.
Creation, we are presupposing, is from a higher intelligence, a superior intelligence, to be able to produce what we call life. Because we are hundreds of years down our search, and the definition of life is not one unified one. Why? Because there are so many things that need to be considered to establish definitely what we would call life. So if I were to say, okay, the Quran tells us that everything around us, including the universe, was a creation of a very superior being. When I say a very superior being, I can only say it from the perspective of me knowing about this superior being, because the superior being has communicated with human beings. Otherwise, I would be speculating left, right, and center. I would suggest, and without offending any particular kind of sets of believers, I can imagine a God with 50,000 legs and 50,000 arms. Yeah. I can imagine a neutral gender creator. I can imagine in physical terms. Yeah. Like I said, without offending anybody. Yeah. I can imagine a multitude of things. You can do the same. Then me and you sit down and say, which one is a better God in design?
We're speculating forever.
Exactly. So logic is dictating that you must have, if there is a superior entity, it is only reasonable to assume that that superior being tells us what that superior being is and what that superior being is not. So I would suggest to you that, look, the evidence for life, the way we understand life, is the evidence seems to be overwhelming that it is actually on a, let's talk about a road or a trajectory of intended consequences.
Yes.
Yeah,
I think so.
The evidence is overwhelming. Why I say this? I mean, there are many people who talk about the watchmaker argument. Yeah, that if you find a
Richard Dawkins.
Well, not only him, there were many others before him. Okay, but the point is, look, I am suggesting that the path seems to be one of intended consequences. In other words, everything seems to have foresight behind it.
Yeah.
On that basis, I would say that, look, the Quran is very clear on that, and there would not be any disagreement over how and what life is all about, because we have got those telltale signs of what we should look for in the Quran. So, in response to what you are asking, you see, I know that the Quran is giving me the necessary information in a nutshell, which I need to then further investigate to establish how potentially this happened. Now,
Yeah.
there are examples in the Quran of human beings asking the Creator, how do you create all this? Yeah, we have got the story of Abraham. He asks how, and he is told potentially how it can be done. We have got an example of a human being, in this case Moses, we call him Moses Musa, asking the Creator, can I have a look at you? You know, it's, look, these questions have already been asked thousands of years ago by individuals, but we are aware of them because we have been given that information. Yeah.
Yes.
So, as a quick example, a gentleman one day came to me and said, Shabir, he was an atheist, but he was a very nice fellow. He says to me, he says, Shabir, show me God. I said, well, that's easy. You are looking at him. So he immediately says, yeah, don't be silly. You can't be. Yeah. I said, now, what is it inside you that told you I cannot be when you deny the existence of a God anyway? Now, there must be something inside that tickled him. Otherwise, you can't deny something that's not there. Okay?
Yeah.
But the logic is simple here, from my perspective anyway. The Quran talks about life. The Quran talks about potentially life coming from what we call water. It has got many, it has got many pointers. What we as human beings have to do is research, find out, try and establish why these pointers had been given to us. There must be a reason. Yes. Now, if you take the whole argument in inverted commas, you find the Creator is telling us, we are assuming that is the case for the discussion. In the Quran, the Creator is telling us what life is. The Creator created it. So it is clear from the Quran that it is with intended consequences. There is a purpose behind what is happening. And if you look around, like if I say to you, Elliot, which one came first? Not the chicken or the egg. I'm not going to say that. Which one came first? The ear or the hearing, or an intended consequence of the ear so that you can hear? Which one?
Second one.
So you think the hearing came first?
Repeat it. Repeat it again.
I'll repeat it. Is it which one came first? The ear, the hearing?
Yeah.
Or
the ear came first.
Sorry?
And then the ear came first, and then the hearing. Yeah, I get what you mean.
So you think the ear came first?
Yeah.
So you are saying that the ear seemed to have been designed for the purpose of hearing?
I'd say so, yeah.
Right, okay. But now we have an issue here. You see, the ears, the body, everything are composed of atoms, molecules. Atoms and molecules on their own cannot have intended consequences, can they?
I don't think so. No.
I would agree with you. So how do you draw up an ear with an intended consequence of hearing?
Chance.
Not a problem. So you, as I said, you see, the Quran talks about all this. From my perspective, it seems very clear that there is a very supreme intelligence, that brought about everything that is within our senses and things beyond what we would consider our senses. So if I were to take it that route, then I can find no problem in establishing, okay, there was an intended consequence behind why potentially there was what we call the Australopithecus afarensis fossil.
Yes.
or the Cro-Magnon
Lucy.
man. Yeah,
Yeah.
Lucy. Yeah, it can be with intended consequences. Now, are we in a position to be able to definitively say that we have all the information to make that into what you would call knowledge for the understanding of the human being? I would suggest the answer is no at this moment in time.
No.
We don't
It's
have it.
inferences, isn't it?
Exactly. But even that, I mean, you can draw very good inferences based on the evidence that is available.
Yeah.
You can do that. That's not a problem. Yeah. I mean, it is amazing that the way all the research is going, it is moving towards what we would call the realm of metaphysics. And
Yes. Yes.
there seems to be an effort in trying to amalgamate what we would call physics and metaphysics into one potential subject. Now,
Yeah.
my view is that the word science has unfortunately, unintended maybe, has been hijacked by a certain subject only, or rather certain subjects only. So you find we are always told scientists have discovered so and so. Scientists have discovered so and so. Now, if I were to use that, that sentence or that phrase or statement, if I were to say the local priest has discovered so and so, exactly. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody will pay any attention to it. They'll say, hello, what kind of a priest is this then? Yes?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
what we would call, what I consider the word science, its original meaning, knowledge. Knowledge has to, by definition, be all inclusive. Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah.
If you are going to deny a certain amount of knowledge simply because it is not fitting within your very limited criteria, you are doing a disservice to the human being by denying human beings vital knowledge which potentially can make or break a human being's discovery. Potentially. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
like you said, this is a very, very deep subject, but I would say that there doesn't seem to be any issue in potentially looking at how evolution is understood, yeah, in contrast to what the Quran says.
Right. Okay.
But like I said, it's a vast subject. Hopefully, we can cover it in some other discussion.
Yeah. 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 When we discuss a creator in terms of the limited knowledge we have
Yeah.
of a supreme being, do you find a difficulty comprehending the attributes of a creator in
Okay.
terms of the typical atheistic paradoxes that accompany the attributes of the creator, being all
Mhm.
powerful, being all knowing? How do you understand that without sort of contradicting yourself in a way? If the creator's all powerful, does that equate to doing anything?
Yeah.
How would you go about that?
Okay. You see, one of the things that I find, especially when I am having conversations with our atheist friends, is their very, very narrow view of life and understanding. I'm not
Yeah.
going to say this is right across the board with all atheists, but the majority that I have come across sincerely are very, very limited in their understanding of what information knowledge is all about. So, for example, the question that you are asking, now I'm in a comfortable position because I am suggesting that the Quran actually gives me the answers that we as human beings are constantly seeking. Yeah. So, for example, as I said earlier on, a far superior being, we either, me and you, without having information about this superior entity, being, creator, without any information, we will be speculating forever about what this
Yes.
being is. So you will find the atheists, they will talk about, oh, can God lift a stone heavier than he can lift, or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the usual one. The point here is this. First and foremost, can we please agree on what we are talking about when it comes to the Creator? So,
Yeah.
from like I said, I'm sat in a comfortable position, and that's not in a, how can you say, in a haughty manner. Not at all. I'm saying I'm comfortable in this position because the Creator in the Quran, the final revelation to humanity, tells us what the Creator is. So, for example, in chapter 112, it's a common one.
Yeah.
We are told the Creator is one. Qul huwallahu ahad, one. Allahu samad, eternal absolute. Now, I want you to listen to the words carefully here, and we will see what we are saying. So we have got Qul huwallahu ahad, say he is one. Allahu samad, eternal absolute. Lam yalid wa lam yulad, begets not nor is begotten. Wa lam yakul lahu kufuwan ahad. There is nothing like unto the Creator. Now, I'll
Yes.
just go over those words, yeah, because there are many other statements which hopefully we can refer to in a nutshell, yeah. This one says the Creator is one. Now, you know, and I know we have got many people in the world who will suggest that their belief tells them that the Creator can be a combination of three, four, five, but one.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have got that, okay. Now it's a reasonable question somebody can ask. Oh, wait a minute, are you saying that there are a few gods? Now the
Could
moment,
be.
yeah, could be, but the moment they use the word God, I respectfully disagree with them. The reason, I'm just diverting slightly before we go back to what we are talking about. The reason being this: if I say there is a God, you say, is it the same God that I worship?
Yes.
Then a third, then we are in the age of equality. So a lady comes along and says, "Well, excuse me, you two are both wrong. I have got a goddess." Yeah. Now it's
Yeah.
true. So now we are all at it. Then a very naughty sort of individual pops in and says, "Hey guys, don't worry, don't worry. We can just combine them three into one."
Yeah.
That's also something that is taught.
This.
Now, yeah. So I say, wait. The moment you use the word God, logically speaking, you have limited the being. You have limited.
Ah,
That is
right.
why you can you see you can conceive of a
Yeah.
multiplicity of gods.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you following? If you are a
Yeah. That opens the
limited
floodgates
entity,
to anything.
yeah. If you are a limited entity, for example, I can say, okay, you know what? How about this, Elliot? We can make 11, oh no, let's not make 11, that's too many. We can make three Richarlisons for the Everton team. How would that do?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
wouldn't be too bad.
hey, bring him on, bring him on. Yeah. I turn to Jurgen Klopp. We can make three Manes, three Salahs, three Firminos. Which one is the best one? We'll just choose and put. But that
Yeah.
requires that requires limitedness. Now,
Right.
are you following?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because there is limitedness, we conceive of these questions like, can the Creator create a stone heavier than he can lift? The moment we are
Yes.
using
Yes.
words like this, we are limiting everything. Now, the
Right.
Creator, are you following?
Yeah. It's clicking now.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. So now you find that, wait a minute, if the Creator is saying the Creator is absolute, here comes a bit of a sort of thinking stretch. Yeah. If you have got an absolute entity, are you able to divide the entity?
No, it's not logical
You
to
can't.
think like that.
It's not logical. But if that be the case, then when we attribute certain things to the Creator, they will be in an absolute form. They will not be in a
Yes,
limited
should be.
form, will they? They will,
No.
by definition and logic. Yeah. So when we say mercy, we are talking in an absolute sense.
Sense. Yeah.
Are you following?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, like I said, I'm sitting in a comfortable position in relation to what the Creator is. In sincerity, why I say this is because, look, I know the Creator is one, absolute, begets not nor is begotten. Now, these are very important. You know why? This idea of limitedness has been dispensed with because it is
Yes.
limitedness that allows us, yeah, that allows us to be able to have interaction with the females, as a result of which children are born.
Yeah.
The Creator is above that very idea
Above
and
all.
notion. So, if anyone comes to you and says, Elliot, you know what? I just had a chat with God who came down as a man.
Yeah.
The human being has this incredible ability of accepting certain things which, with hindsight, were so illogical, so unreasonable, but while they were in the moment, it was fine.
Yes.
There is a famous saying about two people who deeply loved each other. Yeah, it is in the Eastern sort of. I'm not going to call it a myth because it is recorded in the Eastern understanding or the Middle Eastern understanding. They call them Layla and Majnu. Okay, like Romeo and Juliet. Okay,
Ah, right.
the fellow was so besotted with the lady, but his friends used to tell him, she is so ugly, what do you see in her? But to him, look, beauty is in the eyes of the beholder, sort of
The
thing.
holder.
Yes. Obviously, I'm not intending to offend anybody by saying this. It's just to try and understand how we are viewing things. So for me, if the Creator is saying the Creator begets not nor is begotten, now you tell me, can you conceive of any life form, yeah, that we don't know about? And I'm not talking about asexual reproduction, sexual reproduction, etc. I'm not talking about that. What I'm talking about is there any human being or a sentient being that you can come across who says, you know what, I was not begotten, nor do I beget? By
Well,
definition,
no,
by
it shouldn't be.
there should not be. I like that. There shouldn't be. Even you never know what can hit us.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the point is that we know that's not possible. By definition, it's
Yeah.
not possible. So the question, therefore, is this: when the next statement says, there is nothing like unto the Creator. Now, I'm going to set you down a challenge here, just a 10-second one. I want you to conceive of anything that you can conceive of. And when you do, I will tell you, well, the Creator is not that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. I
Because that's what
understand.
it says. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
only that, but the Creator then goes further and addresses. This is found in chapter 21, verse 22. Yeah. It very clearly is telling us there, if there was more than one Creator, you would have found corruption and destruction. No, it's very odd if you think about it. Why do you think there would be corruption and destruction if there was more than one God? Why do you think?
Opposing will's power.
There you are. I mean, you automatically know. Just look at human history. Opposing
Yes.
wills, how they understand things, the need that we have got, whether we accept it or not, we have got this need for power.
Yeah, I agree.
And we've got examples. Yes, the one that I can think of right now is our former President Trump. He loves
Yeah,
power, and he openly says it. He loves power. On the other end, you've got the North Korean leader. Yes, he loves
yeah.
power. I'm just using these
Even
two
worse.
examples because exactly there you are. They are at loggerheads potentially. Yes. Well, we know in the background many things happen which we, the public, are not aware of. But the point
Yeah,
here is this: that logically speaking, there can but only be one creator. The moment we say there's more than one, we are limiting the entities, and that will mean that there's going to be a clash of wills. So you
yes.
see, so I have no issue at all in being able to understand that when somebody says, okay, you know what, can the creator love you more than me? Well,
Yeah,
the moment you say love you more than me, you are only saying that because there is a limited aspect and you want to go beyond that. Are you
yeah,
following?
yeah,
Yeah. So if you tell me, okay, you know what, the creator loves you more than me, I would say, well, you must have done something very good. That's the only response I can give. Okay. But I don't know. And definitively, neither of us know.
yeah.
So, whichever way you view the creator, and by all means, ask me if you want, in what way can we misunderstand the creator if we know what the creator definitively is because the creator has given us that necessary information?
I think it's when people, because people always want more. They want to know they want to ask further questions that they'll never
Absolutely.
have answers to.
Yes,
I
true,
think is
true.
what normally happens.
Yeah. Absolutely. I agree with you. But this is where I say, look, I am confidently asserting that if a person wants to know what the creator definitively is to the level that we can only understand, then I
Yes.
would humbly submit to them that they need to read and study the Quran because the information that we require. Now, I'm not suggesting in any way that certain information may not be found in the previous writings. I'm not
Yeah.
suggesting that. What I am saying is that in its comprehensiveness and in its totality, you will only find
Yes.
that in the Quran. And
Yes.
I I put this out. Usually, if there were people, I would say, look, I mean this with humility, and I would put the challenge out that if you were to study what the Quran says about the Creator, you cannot, by the end of it, deny what has been said. And you will accept what the Quran says about the Creator. That, by definition, suggests to me that you then should embrace the system which will only lead you to peace, but peace in a real sense. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't, yeah. So I would have no problem with understanding what the creator is. Now, obviously, I'm sure you'll have many more questions, and we can move on to that. Okay, but like I said, if there's still you want to come back to me about this creator, by all means, do.
Yeah. Yeah. Because one thing that I've read once, not long before he died, I think Stephen Hawking mentioned that there can be no creator of the universe because
Mhm.
without time there can be no cause. That was sort of his. There's no possibility of a creator because without time there's no
Yeah,
cause,
yeah,
and that so that was something that I struggled to get even wrap my mind around that.
yes. That's a good question.
Yeah,
You see, Elliot, Dawkins or Hawkins, one of them, yeah, says that there is no creator, yeah.
yeah,
The creator didn't create anything because there was no time for the creator to create anything. Why? Because time was a byproduct of the universe.
yes,
Now, when I read that, yes, I found it quite amusing. You know why I found it amusing? Because I thought, "Oh, that's a good one. That is quite good." The only problem is that you have limited the creator within a time span.
Yes.
Now, if you are saying that time, space is a byproduct of the universe coming into existence, then logically speaking, whatever, and we are assuming that a creator began this, by definition, would not be contained within that. It is
Yeah.
illogical to think like that. So if you want to get your head around this one, it's quite straightforward actually. Look, time, according to the way we understand it, is a byproduct of the universe coming into being. Do we agree
I
with that?
agree.
It is.
Yeah.
Space,
Absolutely.
likewise, is the same. We agree with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
If we were to go reverse back to what we consider to be the speck of unbelievable density, if we were to go back there, yeah, well, whatever started it off, and in this instance, we are saying that there was a creator who started it off, then logically speaking, the very notion of time being attributed to the creator is a bit
It's
illogical.
illogical.
It is. But guess
Yeah.
what? The Quran also addresses that for us. Yeah. It tells us that look, the creator, when we talk about time, yes, one day of the creator, now we put day in inverted commas, is
Yeah.
equivalent to 50,000 years. One day is equivalent to 1,000 years. Logically speaking, it is telling you you are talking about huge time spans, the way we understand time spans are. Are you following?
Yeah.
Because for us to equate 50,000 years, we need to know what 1 year is.
Yes.
So when we look at what we call earthly time, we find that 1 year consists of 365 days, which is 12 months. And those months are counted because of the seasons and because of the earth going around the sun. And that's how we have 1 year.
Yes.
Yeah. We know that one day on Mars is actually 37 minutes, I think, longer than it is on Earth. Yeah. So this is all to do with the time factor. Now, the Quran is actually addressing the limitedness of time and the relativity of time. Now, I'm not
Yes.
making this. Yeah, I'm not making this grandiose claim. What I am saying is actually, factually speaking, the Quran actually mentions this. It talks about 1,000 years and 50,000 years. Time is relative. But the point being made here is that anything that the Creator created, by definition, included or including time and defining the Creator within time would be logical as it is. So it's
Yes.
it's you can get your head around it very easily as long as you address the idea that time and space are a byproduct of a universe that came into being.
Yes.
If that universe was not there, the very notion of time would not be there. And so when they said that God didn't have the time, it was quite a quip they made. Yeah. But it is true only if the idea of the universe comes into play. I hope
Yes.
that answers the
Yeah.
question.
Yeah. It makes sense.
Yes. Yeah.
It does make sense. I've this may sound like a simplistic question, but a lot of the time when it comes to proof, you see from an atheistic point of view, you
Yeah.
see especially Carl Sagan's example
Yeah.
with the green fire breathing dragon in the garage. The would you believe a flying teapot around Mars? What's the difference between what you believe about a creator and a
Hmm.
dragon in the garage? It sounds simple, but
Yeah.
how would you view that?
Oh, if you think about it, okay, I somebody had actually asked me this question quite a time back. Yeah. And I said to him, actually, you know what? There is a what in normal English parlance we would say there is a quintessential dichotomy between how the creator is and the way, for example, Carl Sagan and many others have
Yeah.
identified a creator to be. The reason being this: if I were to tell you, I want you to conceive of a teapot without having a teapot being conceived, can you do it?
No,
So
impossible.
what basically we are talking about is that when we talk about a green monster, a flying teapot, a teapot, traversing around the moon or the earth, yeah, we've got to accept that we are basing the idea and the notion on the fact that we have prior experience of a teapot.
I agree.
Okay. Flying monster,
Yes,
again, prior experience. Take
that's a
flying.
combination.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, an interesting point here needs to be made, Elliot, and I'm so glad you raised this question. We have got many what we call animals that we had considered to be mythical creatures.
Yes,
Now, I don't know if you watched, there was a series of programs on TV about a gentleman who was looking at all these mythical creatures. And they found that quite a lot of them actually were not mythical at all. You see,
yeah,
there were things that people described. They may have gone extinct, but the records of their existence remained. Now, we know this famous issue about Chinese whispers. Yeah.
yes,
People have the tendency sometimes to exaggerate certain things to make the story more convincing. Okay?
yeah,
But that does not necessarily mean that their existence is flatly to be denied simply because we had this idea that there cannot be an animal like this.
yeah,
Yeah. So if I were to give you a quick example, I was talking to a philosophy lecturer. I was not aware he was a philosophy lecturer, by the way. Yeah, but he says to me, he says, "Look, I do not believe in the existence of a unicorn."
right.
I said to him kindly, look, the word belief needs to be defined. Okay, my view is that the word belief ought to be based on the evidence that is either conclusive or beyond reasonable doubt, taking it from the English courts of law, yeah, beyond reasonable doubt, or if not that, at least on a balance of probabilities. So
Right.
I said to him, I said, look, you are saying that you have conceived of something that cannot be conceived of.
Yeah.
He says to me, well, you can't put conceive and not conceive. It's a contradiction. I said, I agree with you. I said, I will rephrase it. And I said to him, think of something that does not exist. Well, he says, well, he
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
He can't think of anything. I said, well, how did you conceive of the unicorn then?
Yeah.
So I said to him, look, I'll give you a plausible explanation of a unicorn and its existence. And you tell me whether I may be wrong or I'm flatly wrong. So I said to him, going back in history, two hunters go out hunting for their food, as they do, and they heard this very weird sound, okay? And so they followed the sound. Guess what? Our ears have come into play. The ears we were discussing a
Yeah.
few minutes back, okay? So they heard the sound and they followed the sound. As they were getting closer, they heard the sound increase, but it was a sound which they were not familiar with. So they were treading very carefully. And just as they turned around a tree into the clearing afar, they noticed something which they knew. to be a horse, but this particular one seems to have had something sticking out of its head.
Yeah.
And they were flummoxed. They were thinking, what is this? They've never seen this before. Now, they weren't going to dare go any closer because superstition reigned. So they decided to have a look at it, looked at it for a few minutes, and then ran back to the tribe to go and tell the tribe they had found this unbelievable creature. Yeah, we haven't brought the wings in yet, but we can introduce them also. Okay, so that's what they saw. Now I'm saying to to my philosopher lecturer, I said to him, would I be correct in thinking that at that time, when they viewed that, they were not aware of what we would call disabilities? You've heard of the elephant man? Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you heard of the tree man of Java or Indonesia?
Yeah, I've seen them.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
Right. Now
Yeah.
you see, if we were not aware of what these medical conditions were, and we saw that, would we actually say that's a human being from afar?
No.
We
No,
we
no, probably
wouldn't.
not.
We wouldn't. So I told him, I said to him, you tell me if my view of what they may have seen, which later on became known as a mythical being, a unicorn,
Yeah.
is not my view more reasonable than you conceiving of something that cannot be conceived of? He was, I mean, look, he was a genuine, honest guy, and he agreed with me. He said, look, yours is a plausible response to what he thought was an unanswerable question. Now, why did he say it was plausible? I am aware. Because if you test it according to how we theorize things, then you will see it fits and it passes, it ticks all the boxes. So now I can confidently tell you unicorns did exist, Elliot, except that we didn't understand what they were.
Yes,
So
true.
you find
Well,
that whatever there was here was something that was considered to be a growth that was at an unusual place.
yes. Would
Can you
that
follow?
be the same for the creator as well, though, in terms of the creator could be a combination of things put together over time?
Excellent. It's a potential question, but if you notice, about 10 minutes ago, we had addressed the idea of a combination of things, but those combinations would have to be limited entities. Now,
Yes.
if you don't have the information about what the creator is from the creator, then what we are discussing potentially can be true. But since we have
Yeah.
the information which is telling us that there is nothing like unto the creator, the moment we say we'll put a combination of things which are limited entities in themselves, and
Yeah.
they are within the purview of our senses, by definition, they can't be a creator.
Yeah.
Are you
Yes.
following?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything we can conceive of and say, okay, like I said earlier on, I believe in a creator with 50,000 hands and 20,000 legs. You say, no, my creator is Professor Stephen Hawking because he is very sharp or whatever. And like I said, both of us are then thrown into the bin because a lady comes along and says, no, it's a goddess who looks like Ursula Andress or I don't know, Marilyn Monroe
Yeah.
or someone or whoever. Yeah. So, but the issue there is only one. And I would sincerely ask anybody to overturn what I am saying. I am saying the moment you conceive of anything which is within the sphere of our senses, by definition and logically, it cannot be a creator.
Yes.
Are you following? So when you say,
Yeah. Yeah.
cannot the creator be a combination of things? I will say to you, okay, Elliot, tell me what kind of combination of things? What will you say?
Yeah. There's a difficulty here.
Yeah.
We only talk about a creator by attributes, don't we? Generally speaking.
Even if we talk about the attributes, I would suggest first, if we dispense with the notion that a creator can be conceived of in language that by definition is limited,
Yes.
we are going to have an issue.
Right.
So, if I were to say the creator is merciful, it's an attribute, yes?
Yes.
How would we define mercy?
Giving someone the benefit of the doubt.
Okay. Suppose I were to say to you, and it might sound controversial, this by the way, so I'm just warning you beforehand. Yes? If you have a lady or a man who loves being slapped and they like being hurt, and it is an ailment for them to the extent that it can be prescribed from the doctors that that person should be hit, that would be merciful. Would you agree? You
Yeah.
can't say no, can you?
It's no.
You
Here or
can't.
there.
You can't. But to other observers, they are going to think, are you mad? How can you be
Yeah.
beating the guy and think you are being merciful to the person? Now, you will
Yeah.
find that here the issue again has arisen about the limitedness of our faculties. If I were to
Yeah.
say mercy in an absolute sense is inconceivable,
It
because
is.
logically we are limited entities. What we can do, however, as you will see, we can imagine things. We use the word imagine. I can think of something that is I'm sat here and I'm thinking, you know what, the best Superman was Christopher Reeve.
Yes.
Yeah, I can think that, can't I? But I
Yeah.
know, and you know, this is to do with celluloid. But a kid here in Blackburn, a kid actually watched a movie and he thought it was genuine. So he climbed up, the car park here. He did the car park, and he jumped with his Superman suit on. Obviously, he had a bang.
Yeah.
Thankfully, he landed safely, and he was okay. But we can imagine many things. But as far as a creator is concerned, the attributes of the creator also, do you not reasonably think that the way the attributes are also need to be in the form of information which the creator gives us so that we can understand exactly what is meant?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the sorry, you were just saying something. Sorry. Yeah. Basically, what I'm saying is, look, the attributes of the creator. So, for example, in Islam, we are told, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, in the name of the creator, the gracious, the ever gracious, the ever merciful. Yeah. Now, if I knew that my child is going to do something and I stop the child, yeah, and the child starts crying, and I say, it doesn't matter, you can cry. This is not good for you. From a liberal perspective, am I doing the right thing?
Yes.
From an absolute perspective, am I doing the right thing?
We can't think on absolutes, can we?
You can't. We can't conceive of it. We can't. Because you see, somebody can come along and say to me, Shabir, your parenting skills are rubbish. You don't do it like that. Let the child do it. Let the child learn the mistake.
Yeah.
Now, the first thing I would ask the gentleman or the lady is that I fully appreciate your input in this, but do you know what the child was going to do? Do you know why I stopped the child from doing that? Now, these questions haven't been asked. Logically, you would ask them. Yeah. I said, well, the child was intending to walk into a manhole and they insisted they wanted to walk. Well, okay, you know what? The child has the freedom to do what it wants. Let it go and learn the mistake by itself. It is illogical. We don't operate like that, although theoretically we can. We can operate like that. Yeah. Sadly, we have got human beings who would want to kill their own children. So if you had somebody who suddenly saw their child going into the manhole and they wanted to be rid of the child, what would they do?
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? There is a possibility. Yeah. Thankfully, it is very rare. We hope. But any
Yeah.
kind of attribute that we use, you will find will necessarily be very limited unless and until the creator has provided us the necessary information. I hope that answers
Yeah.
your question. Yeah,
It does.
good. We can move on to the next one.
It's yes. Let me see. How would you begin of um from I've watched this recently, and it's there's so much I struggle to comprehend. It's that
Yeah,
broad and complex. But the base, I'm not a big fan of Jay Smith.
okay,
Anyway,
I understand.
but he talks about multiple different versions, etc., Qurans,
Yes,
etc. And so when I try and understand what he's trying to say, and then the rebuttals, it's I don't know enough to actually
yeah,
understand what's going on.
I understand. Yeah,
It's
yeah.
so has he got a basis for what he's saying, or is that line of arguments misconstrued?
An honest answer. I mean, I've had the occasion to discuss and debate with him at Speaker's Corner. Yeah,
Yeah,
one time, and unfortunately, the way he conducted himself was not what I expected. Okay. But even worse, there are many. I mean, I'm sure you will have seen many videos of his
yeah,
online where he discusses nothing but that, and also about
yeah,
the existence of the Prophet or the non existence of Makkah, and he goes on and on. Good luck to him.
yeah,
Okay. But insofar as the subject matter is concerned, I will humbly tell you that he really is a very, very good salesman.
yeah.
He is
I
a
think that.
very good salesman. But what he is selling as a product is unfortunately extremely defective. Okay. Now, what I mean by that is this. You see, when he talks about a multiple set of versions, yeah, the evidence that is the way the evidence is shown by Jay or any of what I consider to be the individuals who are associated with him, yes, uh, is not the way it ought to be addressed. I can tell you this much that when he talks about multiple versions, definitely he's got the wrong end of the stick, as it were. Yeah, there is no such thing. I mean, this is a subject matter of how the Quran is actually recited. There are different ways of reciting the Quran. So, I mean, let us simplify. It is a very broad subject, but if I were to simplify this for you, Elliot, we see it this way. Okay, if I am talking in English, yeah, and I use the word in it as in it, yeah,
Yeah,
or is it not, yeah. If
yeah,
I were to use that, it's a very simplistic example, yeah. If I were to use that and I am saying it and I decide to write it down, Okay, I put down, is that not a car? Somebody asks
Yeah.
me, and I say to him, it is a car, innit? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody asks me the same question, and I say, it is a car, is it not? What's the difference?
Yeah. Means the same, just pronounced differently.
Okay, but now with the Arabic language, it actually goes a bit further than that. Yeah. So, for example, and it's a very common one that everybody uses, but in a nutshell, like I said, if a particular dialect is used, yeah, and you are a classic example, you are a Liverpudlian, aren't you? Okay,
Yeah.
everybody knows that Liverpudlians talk English in a particular way. Yeah,
Yeah.
everybody knows. I mean, the moment I hear Steven Gerrard is a
Yeah.
Liverpudlian,
In
yeah,
town.
you can tell. Yeah, and you find all our football players who have come from across the seas. Yes, the one that I can think of is Jan Molby of Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a European, but when he spoke, it was like a Scouser. Yeah,
Yeah. But
now
it is.
it is. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, but the thing is that the Arabs, they had also dialects. Yeah, where certain words were actually pronounced in a particular way,
Yeah.
but that particular word had in its meaning a deeper understanding. Okay, are you following?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for example, yeah. So for example, if I were to say he is the king, yeah, or the ruler, is there a difference?
Only in the words themselves, not probably
Exactly.
not the meaning.
Yeah, exactly. So you find that there is a science behind what we are discussing, and if anybody wants to genuinely understand what it is, then I would request them to actually study the subject matter and then oppose it. But as it is, you
Yes.
see, like I told you, our friend Jay Smith is a very good salesman. Yeah, and usually people disparagingly would say a good snake oil salesman. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I I will not do that. I will call him a good salesman because what he does, and I've seen a lot of his work. I mean, thankfully, I can see the errors when he makes them, but the lay public will not be able to. They will not see the errors. They will
Yeah.
believe what he is saying because he will back it up with his 25 years of study, etc. Now, like I said,
Yeah.
I'm not looking down on him. He's a good individual. He's a nice fellow, okay, but he's misguided. That's my view on it, anyway. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, insofar as the subject matter is concerned, he's definitely got the wrong end of the stick.
Radio.
Yeah.
Are we okay to leave it there?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
promised the
No,
missus I'd
you
go for a
can.
walk.
Sorry.
I promised the missus we'd go for a late walk.
Yeah. Yeah. Not a problem at all. Well, if you have got one more question, we can address it. Otherwise, we can leave it for next time.
One quick question then,
Sure.
maybe a philosophical one sort of thing.
Not a problem.
When it comes to existence, how can you define what existence is? If I say something doesn't exist, what would your starting point be in terms of existence?
Okay. Good question. You know what? We were in a masjid. Okay. We were having a banter. Now, one of the friends of mine, he knew that I like, twisting things. Okay. So
Yeah.
he says to me, he says, Shabir, can I ask you a question? Now, there are others sat there, okay, who I didn't know, okay, but they were just engaging with us. So he says to me, he says, does God exist?
Yeah.
And I said, no. The guys who were sat next to me, yes, They suddenly stopped mid-flow. They said, "What did you just say?" I said, "Well, he asked me, does God exist?" And I said, "No." They they said, "No, no, 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 no. There's something wrong with you. There's something seriously wrong with you mentally. Of course, God exists." I said, "No, no, God does not exist." And my my friend knew that I was, pulling them along. Okay, I kept on doing it until, unfortunately, one particular brother lost it. Yeah, he really lost it. He says, "You are ex." I said, "Brother, calm down, calm down." Yeah, he calmed down, and I said to him, "Listen, I said God does not exist because existence is a creation. Therefore, you can't include the creator in it because existence, by definition, would be limited."
Yeah.
Now, if you if you use the word existence, I would say to you, I exist today, I won't exist tomorrow. Am I right?
Maybe.
Okay. If I die, am I still existing?
In some form, probably.
Whichever way we look at it, I would say then, okay, I agree with you in some form, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if we look at the makeup of the human being or anything else, we come down to atoms. We come down to subatomic particles. We come down to what is known as string theory. We are talking about vibrations all over the place. Yeah. The question then, therefore, is this, that if I extend that to the universe, and then the universe ceases to be, how would you define existence?
You can't.
You can't. So the word existence, the way we apply it, would only necessarily reasonably work within the spectrum of life and the universe.
Yes.
But we can actually amazingly use that word and say, does the creator exist? And we would say in the
That's the problem.
affirmative, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because we understand what the word is, but we should also be aware of how limited language is. And
Yeah.
if we are aware that language is limited, we will then logically affirm to ourselves that unless and until the Creator informs us of what the Creator is and everything else around us, then we will truly understand what the connection is between us as the creation and the Almighty Creator. So, in that
Yes.
context, the word
So
existence, I'm sure you would understand.
yes. So would you say, in a nutshell, would you say existence, the creator exists based on existing information? Would you say?
I would say the Creator exists because the Creator has informed us definitively of His existence. But the word existence is being used the way I just described.
Yeah. I understand.
Are you following?
Yeah.
So I can say this is an amazing statement in the Quran. You know the one I started with in Surah 112. Kul huwallahu ahad. Say, He is Allah. I would say the Creator is not the case. The Creator is going to be cannot be the case. The Creator is. Do you know why? Because the Creator cannot be subjected to time, and so the very notion of past, future, and present does not necessarily
Disappear.
apply. Is the Creator is. We can't say the
Yeah, that makes
Creator
sense.
was. Are you following? So in that
Yeah,
context, I
yeah.
would use the word. Yeah, in that context, I would use the word existence without a problem in associating it with the creator.
Yeah, that answers my question.
Excellent.
Yep.
Yeah, by all means,
Yeah.
Elliot, ask whatever, no matter how you think. Don't worry about how uncomfortable it is or how you think I might take it. I will only
Yeah.
next time say, Liverpool beat Everton, and they'll be fine. We'll be.
I haven't even checked the score, the Liverpool score.
You know what? I had a quick check. They haven't put it up, so I don't even know what the score is. I'll tell you now. It's, has it come up? Uh, No, it hasn't. It has not come up for some odd reason. They usually give me updates, but no. I'm sure we will find out soon enough. Not to worry. Yeah, but
Mil.
like I said earlier, by all means, whatever you have, let us know. Then we can possibly hold another one of these
Yeah,
streams.
yeah,
Yeah, and we can answer all your questions as you want, God willing.
yeah. That's fine. That's fine by
It
me.
was an absolute pleasure seeing you
I
again.
appreciate it.
Yeah, oh,
You too.
absolutely. You are most welcome. Let us know when you want to. Then we can meet up again and whatever questions you have, by all means. Now, if there was anything I said and you thought, wait a minute, I didn't think of what I wanted to say, and you come across something like that, by all means, drop us a line, email us, or whatever, and then we can perhaps clarify it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Do you
Thank you very
have a
much.
Quran, Elliot?
Yeah,
You,
I've got a big Yusuf. I think Yusuf Ali one. I think it's. I
oh, you
think.
do have one. Oh, excellent,
Yeah.
excellent. That is fine. If you need any kind of literature, by all means, drop me a line, let me know. Okay.
Will do. Thank you very much.
Excellent. Look after yourself.
Till
God
next
bless.
time.
Definitely. Look after